Hello. As you probably know by now, Storm Eowyn is arriving. Red Met Office warnings have been issued for Northern Ireland, central and southwest Scotland for damaging winds on Friday. The storm itself has been steadily brewing during the course of Thursday, hiding under this mass of cloud. It intensified somewhat through Wednesday night and continued to intensify during Thursday. Why? Well, it's all to do with the jet stream, a very powerful jet stream. That fast-moving ribbon of air high up in the atmosphere is picking this storm up and really developing it. The isobars just popping out of it as it approaches the Republic of Ireland, bottoming out as it moves in just to the northwest of the UK. Its strongest winds on its southern flank, so the most dangerous gusts likely across central, southwestern Scotland and Northern Ireland during Friday, but it's going to be a very windy start right across the UK. More on the winds in a moment, but first of all, let's get through tonight, where many places actually dry and relatively calm over central and eastern parts of England. Showery rain clearing from Scotland, but then the storm moves in and it turns very wet in these western areas. There'll be snow over the hills of Northern Ireland, even at low levels for a time, and snow then moving into parts of Scotland, again, particularly over the hills. We actually have a Met Office yellow warning in place for the snow, but it is, as I say, the winds that are the greatest cause for concern. Temperatures, well, they'll dip initially with the clearer skies, but these are the numbers by morning, so quite a bit milder than it has been over many a recent morning across the south. But obviously it's not going to feel all that pleasant with the heavy rain and the very, very strong winds. OK, let's look at those winds in more detail. If we rewind the clock and look at this storm, as I said, the strongest winds in this southwestern quadrant really picking up during Thursday evening. This section here with the damaging gusts really ploughing into the west of the Republic of Ireland. But then for the morning rush hour across Northern Ireland as well, southwesterly or westerly winds gusting 70, 80, 90 miles an hour. Perhaps even more around exposed coasts. Then the storm system itself, the low, heads its way across the Western Isles of Scotland with those dangerous gusts then just to the south across western Scotland, but also potentially through the central belt of Scotland. Again, widely 70-mile-an-hour gusts, 80, 90-mile-an-hour gusts, possibly even a little bit more than that again around exposed coasts. The system then heads to the north, but still damaging gusts of wind are possible across northern Scotland even into Saturday. So the warnings in place, those red warnings, central and western Scotland, Northern Ireland, in this zone, as I mentioned, 80, 90 mile an hour gusts, perhaps 100 mile an hour gusts on exposed coasts. Flanking those red warnings, we have amber warnings where gusts of 70 to 80 miles an hour are potentially possible. And again, gusts a little bit stronger than that over coasts and hills. Yellow warning covering all parts, even further south where the winds won't be as intense, but nevertheless could cause some disruption. As I mentioned, there is also a snow warning in place across Scotland and a rain warning too for parts of Wales and southwest England after Thursday's rain. More rain could cause some flooding issues. The rain band itself is pretty broad, but it should tend to zip through because of the strength of the wind. And actually, although it'll be a wet and windy start over a good part of the UK, much of England and Wales turning quite a bit brighter through the afternoon. But that's when the strongest winds will be into western Scotland. As I mentioned, those damaging gusts and still some snow falling over the hills here also. It does turn a bit drier in Northern Ireland and the wind will ease a little bit, but it's still going to be a very, very windy day here. Temperatures, well, actually may dip a little bit as that weather front crosses further south, so 7 or 8 Celsius through the afternoon, and again feeling colder with the winds and certainly feeling a lot colder with those very strong winds still across northern Scotland. They will continue here through Friday evening, the amber warning remaining in place into Saturday morning across northern Scotland. But elsewhere, the weather does show signs of calming down a little bit during Friday night. As the winds start to ease under clear skies, there will be a frost, so it's likely to be a pretty cold start to the weekend. But at least we are going to say goodbye to that storm system. Still providing very strong winds across northern Scotland early on, but even here they should ease down through the day. Good chunk of the country looking dry and bright on Saturday. Good spells of sunshine, but heavy blustery showers will then return to western parts come the afternoon. Temperatures pretty close to the average for the time of year. Now, out in the Atlantic, the jet stream remains pretty strong, and so there is the potential for another pretty active area of low pressure as we say goodbye to Storm Eowyn on Saturday. This area of low pressure then approaches. Doesn't look as intense, but of course these weather fronts will be providing more rain, and after a couple of days of very heavy rain, that may cause some issues. And the isobars are still pretty close together, so yes, we do need to watch the winds on this system. As I said, unlikely to be as dangerous as Eowyn, but nevertheless could cause some disruption. We already have Met Office warnings in place for the second half of the weekend. Please check out all of the weather warnings for yourself on our app and on our website. And of course, we'll keep you updated on YouTube, so make sure you subscribe.